Rise like the sun, but don't go down. I want it all, I want it all. So long live the king.
Welcome back to the channel and welcome to episode 31. Today we're going to take a look at the CrossClimate2s.
Hey Bruce. Wait, so we're reviewing cross-trainer shoes?
Keith, seriously? Were you not paying attention when the opening B-roll played?
Yeah, both of us were paying attention to the B-roll thing, weren't we, Nessa? Yeah. When was that playing again?
At the beginning of the episode, before I opened it and told everyone the episode number.
Ah, right. You mean when you said we were going to be reviewing the cross-training shoes?
Unbelievable. So, I suppose that means you haven't even read the script yet.
Okay, and then Keith says that, and then Bruce. What? Of course I read the script. How else would I know that we're reviewing a pair of shoes? I mean tires. We're reviewing the Michelin CrossClimate2 Tires. Got it.
Wow. I am so glad I don't pay you.
You know, I'm so glad you actually brought that up. It's actually something I've been meaning to talk to you about recently.
Now? You want to have this conversation now? How about you pull up our YouTube channel page and take a look at our subscriber count?
All right, let me look this up here a little bit. You know, I think it's a bit of a chicken and egg scenario, if I'm being honest. And I don't know if you can tell, but I do believe that Nessa's actually in a union. But yeah, I'm looking at the numbers, and frankly, I get your point to a certain extent. I'll say, you know, we really can't monetize until we're at 1,000 subscribers, so I get where you're coming from.
Exactly.
Okay, well, before we go any further, we're gonna need you to hit that subscribe button because we really do have some serious work to do right now.
So if we're gonna go down this road, see what I did there? Let's go ahead and have you hit that like button too. You can always take it back at the end of the episode.
Okay, so with that out of the way, and peeking ahead in the script a little bit, you went ahead and bought some Michelin CrossClimate2 tires for your wife's minivan.
Yes, I did. So, my wife puts a ton of miles on her car, and I was researching the best all-season tires out there and ran across the CrossClimate2s.
Yeah, well, you know, all-season tires is really a pretty tall order, actually, because, you know, Mother Nature and physics and material science are not actually on the same side.
How so, Keith?
Really? You really want to know? Because if you really do want to know, you know what that actually means.
Oh, I'm fully aware of what it means, and in this case, I actually do want you to go full geek on why it's tough to make an all-season tire, especially one with the three-peak mountain snowflake designation.
Okay, great. Well, just remember, you asked for this. Yeah, you know, I mentioned this before about the physics and the material science of making an all-season tire. It's complicated. Tires are weird. We're going to dive into this a little bit. The physics are difficult, almost as difficult as changing your shirt instantly in between takes. I don't know how that happens, but part of the reason why it's so difficult and weird is because people are weird. We have crazy expectations of tires and all of these performance attributes. We want them to last forever, right? Have infinite tread life if possible. We want them to have low noise. Just shut up and do your job. We don't need to hear about it, tires, right? That's what we want. Now with battery electric vehicles becoming more popular, this performance attribute's becoming more important because the internal combustion engine does a good job of masking things like road noise. Well, EVs don't have them, so there you go. Comfort. This is a crazy one because people have vastly different opinions. If you are performance-minded or drive a performance vehicle, you want to feel road vibration through the steering wheel, through the tire patch, into the seat track vibration. You want it. You don't want a ton of it, but you want to feel it. That's what helps you feel connected to the road. Whereas other people, they want to feel like they're driving on, you know, marshmallows through the clouds. They don't want to feel any road vibration. So pretty tough for a tire to do both of those things. Also fuel economy, you want low rolling resistance, low friction to achieve that. Also you want good, traction performance. I mean, you want to live, right? You want to stay alive. Collision avoidance, abrupt lane change maneuvers, short stopping distances, laterally and longitudinally, you want good traction performance. That's not to say just general acceleration and handling performance. That's always been important. It always will be important for tires. And on top of that, there's this thing called on-center feel, right? So if you're driving in a straight line down a straight road, we live in America, that happens. If you make even subtle changes to the steering wheel angle, you want to have a very predictable and reliable response out of your vehicle when you make tiny changes. The vehicle is responsible for that, but you know what? The tires are also a big part of how the on-center performance is. So these are all things that people want, and you can't have everything, but we're crazy. On top of that, tires are crazy, right? This gets down to the material science here. But the same set of tires on your vehicle on a Tuesday can behave very differently on a Wednesday. Crazy, right? Why is that? Well, maybe Tuesday it's really hot and Wednesday it's really cold. Guess what? Now your tires are different. There you go. Or maybe on a Tuesday you're at 36 PSI and on a Wednesday you're at, 33 PSI. There might be something wrong with your tires if you lose that much air pressure that quickly, but the point is, when your tire pressures are different, boom, now your tire's behaving very differently, just like that. They're viscoelastic, very nonlinear. Also, vehicle speed, right? When you're in a parking lot, you've got a certain kind of cornering stiffness. When you're at highway speeds, a very different cornering stiffness. This is the way tires are. They're fickle, they're crazy. That's just the way it is. It's not just people that are crazy. Tires are crazy, and the world is crazy. Sometimes it snows. Sometimes it's icy. Sometimes it's warm and the roads are perfect. Sometimes there's gravel. Sometimes there's loose packed snow, or it's rainy. Sometimes there's a ton of rain and you're plowing through puddles. All of these things happen. So despite all of that craziness, decisions have to be made. You have to choose which, attribute is most important to you, and compromises have to be made. In my case, I drive a Camaro, over 400 horsepower, rear-wheel drive. I live in Michigan. It's my daily driver. And in the winter, I had a tough time. So I basically chose not to compromise because I'm buying snow tires for the winter and summer tires for the summer. So, but these Bridgestone Blizz are what I bought in 2011 for the first time. Life-changing how good these things are. Why is it so good in the snow? Why? Well, material science. It's the rubber compound is able to stay very compliant and soft when the temperatures are cold. It's that simple. Actually, that's not the only reason, but that's a big part of it. Another part of it is the tread pattern. One of the notable features, and all winter tires have this nowadays, it's not just the Blizz, but these sipes, these little tiny cuts. They're not cuts. They kind of look like they're cuts because they're so narrow. You definitely wouldn't call them grooves. But they are very useful. They introduce a lot of additional biting surfaces to get better grip. They affect the compliance of individual tread blocks. They're good. But nevertheless, and by the way, I love saying the word sipe. Like if we weren't talking about winter tires, would you ever use the word sipe? I don't know. But these same tires in the summer, not so good, right? The compound is too soft for normal temperatures and the tread life goes to crap, right? And these tires are too expensive to just wear out in one season, right? On top of that, the on-center feel is not good. They're very squirmy, right? It sounds like I'm making that word up or I'm using it in a slang kind of way, but squirm actually is a technical term that tire engineers will use to describe that type of degree of freedom. It makes the on-center feel bad and weird. So, all-season tires are not new. They've always been a compromise, not as good in the summer as a summer tire, not as good in the winter as a winter tire, but kind of a compromise. But really, I'd be willing to make that compromise in the summer, but not in the winter. I've never believed that an all-season tire could do as good a job as a Blizz, or even close enough to make the compromise. But I think these Michelin CrossClimate2s may be good enough to make that compromise because they're so good in the winter. And your testing shows that. There's so many good reviews on the internet. They actually achieve this this 3 Mountain Peak snowflakey rating thing that you see embossed on the sidewalls. You know, I want to make the compromise. I don't want to buy 2 sets of tires and spend all that money and sacrifice my time. I want to be lazy. I want to save money. If these tires can do a good job in the winter, I'm in. I want to do it. They don't have to be as good as the Blizzak. My only problem is that they don't seem to make this tire in a 275 millimeter width. So I don't think I can buy one for my Camaro, but I would. I would right now if I could.
Wow, that was great information, Keith. So just to illustrate how these tires did in winter conditions, we had a very snowy season, and so it gave me several opportunities to take these tires out in various winter conditions and really put them through its paces.
Yeah, please tell me though that you got some video of these tires going through some deep snow.
Oh, you're not going to be disappointed, Keith. So I have some video of me driving on some snow-packed roads and my comments while I'm doing so, but I also have some video of me driving through some deep, wet snow. So we're going to drive down the driveway, take a look at how we do on some light snowpack, and that's what it is. We've actually, you'll be able to see from maybe out the windshield view, had a significant amount of snow recently. As a matter of fact, over 12 inches of snow in the last couple days. So this is a good opportunity for us to get out on the road and actually see a little bit of varied conditions. So there's, I've plowed the driveway a couple times here, but we had a light dusting, I would say somewhere between a ½ inch and a full inch of snow that has fallen is on the driveway. That's going to give us a chance to see what that tread does in, you know, not quite snowpack, but some of this has been driven on already. So that's going to give us an idea of what kind of traction we have. Then we're going to go on to the street that I would consider mostly plowed. You can see pavement, but there is going to be some variation to that, some slick surfaces, some snowpack, some clear roads, maybe a light glaze on there because we're getting late in the day. So there was some melting because the sun was out. And now that's going to give us a good idea of how this traction looks with the, that's going to give us an idea how the traction is with these particular tires, and we'll be able to see and feel that. So I've got the GoPro hanging from the front windshield to give the outward view, and we're just going to drive around the neighborhood a little bit. I'm going to try not to get into any snow that's too terribly deep, just because I don't want to have to call for help or anything, but I do want to get an idea of the conditions that most people would drive in, what the traction is like, how it feels, the confidence, because this tire is billed as a wet, dry, snow, you know, really all around tire. So, you know, I was purchasing this tire to get one that would perform well on a minivan, give my wife and myself confidence when we drove the vehicle on a variety of weather conditions, as well as give us something that when it's dry pavement, when it's normal conditions on the highway, didn't sound like a snow tire going down the road and making the cabin full of road noise. So here we go. We're going to take a look at what this feels like, what it sounds like, and see how our traction is with the tires. So I gunned the gas just a little bit there on some of the snow. I just wanted to feel what that feels like. So there's a little bit of slippage, and then the tires do make a good grab on the pavement, and so you know, that's good to feel. I mean, you're gonna have some slippage, especially when you kind of push down on the pedal a good amount to give it some go. You're gonna feel that, but I don't feel like it isn't under control. I can feel on heavier braking that there is some sliding going on, but I also feel it catching the grip, and I also felt the anti-lock brakes kick in. So again, here we're going around a curve where the road hasn't been plowed quite as well. We're just going to go through a little bit of deeper snow. Again, I can feel a little bit of slipping going on, but it feels good. It feels like I've got traction. And again, the tread, as you saw from the video I took earlier, has a fairly aggressive look to it, which is one of the things that caused me to maybe have a little bit of concern in terms of road noise, you know, on normal conditions. Was it going to be a super loud tire? Because there is an aggressive tread to it, or at least an aggressive looking tread designed to channel snow and water and everything out away from the center of the tire, which is what you want to do. But it also looks a little bit like a snow tire from that standpoint, and that can sometimes lead to that road noise. So I went through a little bit of deeper snow there. It felt good, right? So, you know, I'm not going to say that there isn't slippage, but I don't know that I've driven on any tire that if you start to accelerate a little bit on snow, that you're not going to get at least a little bit of wheel spin before you get traction. So I'm not going to say that that is anything I wouldn't expect from the tires at this point. So here we're coming down a hill towards the stop sign. I'm going to kind of give it, you know, you might have seen that with the camera. So really, you know, this is good stopping traction, which is a lot of times the problem, right? The go isn't necessarily the issue, it's the stop, which is where a lot of people get into trouble with four-wheel drive. They get into trouble with the tires they have, because they give them maybe a false sense of confidence that they're going down the road, they can go through anything, and then the next thing you know, they're off the road because they couldn't stop, or they hit a patch of ice or something like that. And very few tires are gonna take you know, being on ice and give you, you know, full traction. So again, this is going to be a short trip. I'm just, you know, we'll see what I keep in terms of this narrative going around. I don't want this to be a 20-minute video, but I do want to give, you know, some thoughts in terms of how the tire is performing. I don't know if you're getting a good feel for the road noise or not. Again, the road is a little bit rough because it's a mixed surface. You might be able to see that from the video out the windshield, that there is, you know, a lot of variation in terms of what type of street covering I've got, the amount of snow or lack thereof, what's been plowed, what still has snow, deeper snow, less deep. So I just went through a little bit of a deeper patch of the snow, and it handled that well. We're going around a curve here. I'm going to slow way down. And again, we're driving in an area that doesn't have a lot of traffic, and we're doing that in order to do this test and be safe. But again, it feels good. I mean, I can feel when I get on the gas that we're gonna you know, slide just a little bit, and then it catches the traction, and it gives me, I feel pretty confident with the way the tires are performing, that it's, you know, doing at least what I'd expect out of an all-season tire, one that's designed to be on the snow and other conditions. And snow, and that's probably the most challenging condition you're gonna run into.
Wow, yeah, that's pretty impressive. So how did you get that shot of the tire tread going through the snow like that? That's pretty impressive. You didn't hang Lily out of the back of the van to do that, did you?
No. I didn't put Lily in any danger. I actually used my GoPro and I attached it to the shock mount of the van. And then I used the GoPro app to control the camera.
Okay, good. I was a little bit worried. So, you know, but when I'm watching this video, I do notice I'm getting the impression that you really, really like these tires. Is that a fair statement, Bruce?
It absolutely would. So we've driven the van in dry, snowy, cold, warm, and very rainy day conditions, and they've always been up to the challenge.
Okay, good to know. And, you know, before I forget, I do want to confirm this. You purchased these tires with your own money. You did not receive these from Michelin, and this is not a sponsored video of any kind.
That is correct. So I did my research and I found that the Michelin CrossClimate2s were the best rated all-season tire out there, and they didn't disappoint.
Yeah, you know, I saw that as well. And you know, that actually is a fairly aggressive looking tread pattern. So I have to ask about the road noise. Did you notice that it was more perhaps than the tires that you replaced?
That is an excellent question. So honestly, that was my number one concern when I was researching the tires, looking at the tire tread. And I do have to say that they might be slightly noisier than the tires we replaced, but that would be a completely non-scientific observation. And to be perfectly honest with you, when we're in the van, there's plenty of other noise that's being generated, probably from the kids, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, no, I get you. I got it. Yeah, no, I remember those days quite well. And yeah, I can appreciate that. It probably would take a significant amount of additional road noise for you to perceive that over all the other ambient noise in the vehicle coming from your kids.
Yeah, so true. But, you know, to be honest, I'm not sure that there is much, if any, additional noise that's being created. I was really just commenting that, you know, maybe they're slightly louder, but I really don't have any, you know, empirical evidence that that would show that. And if they are slightly louder, to be honest, it's completely worth the trade-off for how good these tires handle in the snow. As a matter of fact, in all conditions. And so to get that kind of performance, and I'm talking about performance that's really, you know, just short of probably snow tire. They're handling better in the snow than any tire I've owned, just short of a snow tire, and I'm not sure they're far off of that. To get that and get 60,000 miles of tread life is really, you know, just completely worth it for us. I couldn't be happier with our purchase.
Well, there you have it. We're going to give this the official Dad's Talk Tech seal of approval, Nessa. We do have a seal of approval, right?
We've actually not had a Dad's Talk Tech seal of approval, but I guess we do now. So on that note, this is probably a great place to end the episode. Thanks for joining us. If you haven't already subscribed, please consider doing so. And since you made it this far into the video, go ahead and hit that like button. For Bruce and Keith, thanks for joining us, and you'll see us on another episode of Dad's Talk Tech.